Unbelievable. That's what I'm feeling right about now. And listen, I know what you're all going to say. I'm going to try to be rational about this, but sometimes it's hard to be rational as a fan. Listen, for many of my fans out there and many people that know me know that I love the Denver Nuggets. They are the team that I grew up on, cheer for, and they're a team that I will always love. And tonight, I just witnessed one of the most, if not the most stupidest, unbelievable endings to a Denver Nuggets basketball game I have ever watched in my short, young history of watching this team. And listen, I'm going to try to be rational about because they're I don't want to say the season's over. We need to blow it up. We just need to fire the coach. Be very reasonable. But there was a lot of things in this game that got me ticked off and angry. Especially the fact that Jokic had a 60-point triple double and it took double overtime, and the way we lost it and ruined that man's historical night. I'm lost for words right now. And here's my thing. And two, and sorry for the non-proper introduction. Welcome to the Timberwolves Nuggets post-game breakdown and call-in show. I've got the link in the chat. If anybody wants to call in, feel free to. But let's break it down, shall we? Let's break it down. The Minnesota Timberwolves have defeated the Denver Nuggets 140 to 139 in double overtime, thus completing the series sweep in the regular season 4-0. Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves have had our number here more recently. And tonight was a big moment for us because they've beaten us now 5 straight times dating back to the playoffs last year. And here's the thing. Anthony Edwards, he's an incredible player. There's no arguments that are going to be made against him for me. The T-Wolves, a lot of people thought they had the blueprint, but then they traded away Cat, and I thought maybe they would take a step back. But it just seems like the Timberwolves are the one team that has our number. No matter what we do, we cannot beat the Timberwolves. It doesn't matter what we do. And tonight was an example of that. We started off this game really nice. It was 14-5. We had a 16-point lead, and then we were coming down the T-Wolves were able to come back. It was a really fun game. But what I want to get to is the ending of this game. But first, let me highlight some of the big performers in this game, and then I want to talk about this ending because boy oh boy was this ending something. So Anthony Edwards had 34 points. He was money when it was crunch time. Anthony Edwards always shines the brightest in these biggest moments. He loves playing us for whatever reason. I don't know why, but there's some players that the lights are on the brightest when they play certain teams. And Anthony Edwards seems to play his best when he plays us. Like we're their Super Bowl, we're their NBA championship. But he had 34 points, and he came alive in that fourth quarter in overtime. Jokic had 61 points. Like, let's put this in perspective. Jokic had 61 points, and I must preface, no Michael Porter, no Jamal Murray. Either our starters were out, and Jokic played the entire second half on no rest. And you see a lot of the players from each team played big minutes tonight. Julius Randle had 50 minutes played. Jaden McDaniels, 44. Gobert, 40 before he fouled out. Conley with 36. Edwards with 50. For the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon played 47. P-Watt played 45. Jokic played 53. Pickett played 32. Brown played 53 minutes. These guys out here were busting their hump. Busting their hump. And hats off to them, because this was an incredible game. But right now, I'm sitting at the point of we were trading blows back and forth. It was one punch after another, another. There was a point in that first overtime where we were down 125, 117. Then Jokic hits a three. We get a turnover. AG comes back the other way, hits a three to cut it with two. Then Jokic ties it. We go to double overtime. And here's the thing. The T-Wolves had a chance to win it 3 different times tonight. In regulation, in the first overtime, and then, of course, what happened at the end there. And here's the thing, too. Here's the thing I want to say. Nikola Jokic, win, lose, or draw, I want to preface this, is the best player in the world today. He had 61 points, 10 and 10. The best player in the world, regardless, win, lose, or draw. And Trojan Fight, welcome into Nuggets T-Wolves post-game live. And he says, wow, I tuned out of this one. It looked like the Nuggets were pulling away with 6 minutes. I could have sworn they were down like 10. Yeah, this is one of them games, Trojan Fight. It was a heavyweight fight. They even said on broadcast, it felt like a playoff series. I mean, and here's the thing. In a sense, whenever we get together with the T-Wolves, it is a playoff atmosphere, whether it's in Minneapolis or it's in Ball Arena in Denver. And that's one of the things, too. Right now, we cannot beat the Timberwolves. Like I said, the Timberwolves are riding a high. They've beaten us 5 straight times. 6 straight times, pardon me. 6 straight times dating back to last year's playoff series when they won Game 6 and the crucial Game 7. It don't matter how many points we get up on this team. They just find ways to come back and keep winning and keep winning. And it's irritating. Like, it drives me nuts as a Nuggets fan. And what I want to say is this. What is it going to take for us to finally get over this hump? What's it going to take? Because we did everything right. And what I want to get to is what's got me is the end of the game. So we go to the line. Westbrook makes 1 of 2. And it's 139, 138. 8. And we just need one stop, and we're going home with the win. We get the stop, but then they decide to push it in transition. And Westbrook, and here's the thing. Let me set the scenario for you. We are up 1, like I just said. There was no need to push it in transition, but we did, and Westbrook blew the layup. We could have held the ball, backed it out, but Westbrook blew the layup and then comes back down the other end when we could have held the ball and fouls Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And one of the most stupidest, outright, head-scratching, what the heck is wrong with you? And listen, I know Russell Westbrook, but Rook is going to get a lot of hate from Nuggets fans and media that he cost us this game. Here's the thing. I love Russell Westbrook. I thought he was a great addition. But this is what you get with Russell Westbrook. You get the good with the bad. Love the dude to death. He's one of the greatest point guards to ever play the position. He's a walking triple-double. But the problem is sometimes the situational awareness is not all there. because he could have easily. Because all the what the thing is, when he gets in, and Westbrook's got an unbelievable motor on him. He can just fly with the best of them, and sometimes he he can't control the motor, so to speak, and that's what's irritating. Because in this situation, you got the rebound, Westbrook. You know, as a veteran, there's no excuse. You know, as a veteran, dribble the ball, make the T Wolves foul you, make the T Wolves foul you, and you step up to the line and hit a pair, and let's go home. But instead, you try to go for the layup and miss. And see, and this just isn't ragging on Westbrook or my team in general. This could have happened to anybody because a lot of teams have done this. Just so happens it bit us in the butt tonight. And then the foul on the three at the end. What the hell was that? Like, and I understand our defense was scrambling, trying to figure out, Anthony Edwards had been killing us all night, and he was driving to the rim, and he had to, and he saw Nikhil in the corner. It's one of them. It happened so fast, bang bang. The thing is on the play, and the thing is with this, the play. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. It's it's. I'm just trying to calmly because this was a game we absolutely needed to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This was a gotta have it, must have it win because out west there is no room for slack. And this was a game we mentally needed to get over the hump and beat the Timberwolves. And it's freaking ridiculous that a 61 10-10 night from the greatest player in the NBA today, the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, just went to waste. Like that. And it's all over stupid, dumb plays. Russell Westbrook, I love and respect you, but man, as a veteran of the game, that was just downright stupid. Like, you should know better than that. You should know to just dribble the ball and have them foul you or pass it to Christian Brown, who is right there with you, and knock your free throws down and let's go home. Like, where's your common sense? I understand you can't turn off your motor sometimes. I get it. I understand. But come the flip on, dude. Like, it pisses me off, pardon my language, that we just wasted that game. That we just wasted that. Freaking ridiculous. I love Denver Nuggets basketball as much as the next, but I'm sick and tired of not being able to beat the Timberwolves. We are a championship team, and we're not acting like it. Like, listen, it's one thing to go through a slump, but when you're a championship team and you've got the best player in the world in Jokic and arguably one of the best point guards all time, and you've got a guy in Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray when healthy, is one of the best trios in NBA, and this is what we get. And to the guys, they all played their heart out, but that one stupid mistake. Okay, calm down. And as you can see, I'm getting a little frustrated because I love this team. I want to see us win again. But we're not going to win if we keep making that. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to defend Westbrook, that are the haters are going to come out of the woodworks. Like I said, I still love you, Westbrook. I always will, especially as long as you're a Nugget. But that was a stupid, 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 stupid decision, man. Like, come on, you're a veteran in this game. Think smart. You know what you're doing. Think smart. Like, hold the ball. We've got to win. Especially in a crowded Western Conference, let's get out of here with a win. And now, because of this, I say we as if I'm on the Nuggets. Now we are at a point now where things can get a little sticky, so to speak. Because let's look at the standings, shall we? Out west. because this is where it could get a little sticky. And like I said, here's the call-in link. If anybody wants to call in and talk with me, because certainly I need some calming down. I need someone to be the voice of reason right about now. If anybody wants to call in, feel free to. Would love you to, because I need a voice of reason because I'm losing my head over here because this is ridiculous. Anywho, back to the NBA standings. So here's out west. We currently sit third, a game ahead of the Lakers in the win column, and now two back of the Rockets in the loss and win column. The Thunder have clinched the 1 seed. Golden State's nipping at our heels. Memphis is right there. And now Minnesota, with the season sweep, is right there as well. We could fall all the way down to the play-in. Think about that. Over one loss. One stupid, silly mistake. Now, I'm not saying this is going to define us because we still got 5 more games to go and we got a whole playoffs ahead of us. But what I'm going to say is this: if we keep making these mental lapses like this, we're not going to win anything. And listen, we played good defense tonight. That's what I want to say. We played good defense tonight. It wasn't like we were being lazy or we didn't try. We played pretty good defense. It was a heavyweight fight, like I said. It felt like a playoff series. And I know when things don't go wrong, we tend as fans to look at the worst. The positive side is this: Jokic with the 61, 10, and 10. An incredible night. Only very rarefied players can have a 60-point triple double. Very few can do it. Very, very few. And Nikola Jokic is one of them. And for me, the thing is, you have to win these ball games, though. You do. It goes back to you have to win them. And I'll say this: like I'm gonna be a Nuggets fan till the day I die. I'm never gonna stop loving this team. But it's gonna get hard to watch if this is the route we continue to take. And this is the thing too that I try to not look at. But when you can't beat a team, it mentally gets in your head. It mentally is in your head. You think about it, it's in your crosshairs. And now that we've been swept by the T-Wolves and we've been beat 6 straight times, what if we happen to play this team in round 1? That's one of them things too that concerns me. What if we play the Timberwolves round 1? What's our confidence level going to be? Because it's no longer going to be. It's no longer going to be oh, we can beat this team. And that's the thing too. I don't know. Like I'm lost for words because I'm just lost for words. Like I said, I'm gonna love this team, but that was an idiotic, stupid mistake. And it may cost us seeding. Like I don't know what to think because I'm grasping at straws here. I really am because I want say that this isn't going to define us. This isn't going to. But when you've got to play as stupid as that, it just almost makes me want to shake my head and just feel empty inside. It really does. And originally, normally I don't do very many of these, but I felt like tonight was the proper occasion for it and want to get my thoughts off my chest. And like I said, here's the call-in link if anybody wants to call in and talk about this game with me. But if anybody wants to talk about it, they're more than welcome to. Take all callers, good, bad, ugly. I want to hear your all's opinion too, because it just seems like driving myself up a wall here. And I want to say this too, and I don't want to sound like a sore loser, but in a game of this magnitude, and you want to call that foul at the end there, see, that's where I have a problem. Like, I understand it had to be done, but, but, there was a lot of fouls tonight that both ways could have been called, but you decide to make that one. Like I said, I understand it has to be made and it has to be done, but in that situation, you sometimes just have to let it go. And the thing is, too, that whole sequence is going to be played over and over and over again. And it's sad that it's going to be played over and over and over again. It's really sad because it was a great ball game. It was fantastic. Like I said it was a great game. Jokic, Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, like AG, Aaron Gordon, they were dueling out there. It felt like a real playoff game. Christian Brown, like it was a game of, like, I enjoyed watching it. Even though I would have wished for another result, I'll look back on this later on and be like, that was a heck of a game, just with a terrible ending. There's part of me, though, that it's going to take a while to get over this. Now, we got a quick turnaround tomorrow because we got the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs on a back-to-back. I don't know how much energy we're going to have, how good and ready to go we're going to be. We're probably going to be tired, lackadaisical. But we got a young Spurs team without De'Aaron Fox, without Wemby. We got to take care of business. We got to, guys. We just got to take care of business. We've got to. We've got to take care of it because there is no margin for error. You have to put this behind you. You have to put this behind you, and you have to throw this game out the window, essentially. As bad as mistake as it is. And as bad as mistake as it is, you just got to throw it out the window and get ready for tomorrow now. And I hope for Russell Westbrook's sake, he bounces back because a player of his magnitude and his greatness, it's just tough to watch. And I know the fans on Twitter /X, whatever you prefer to call it, are upset about what Westbrook did. And I'm sure all the Lakers and Clippers and fans are being like, this is the Westbrook we were warning you about. Listen, like I said, I'm not a Westbrook stance, as some people would say. It could have happened to anybody, but it just so happened to be that unlucky night. I'm mentally, as I'm talking to you guys now out there in YouTube land, I'm mentally now, I'm still upset and pissed. Don't get me wrong. Pardon my language. But I understand that could have happened to anybody. What I think what gets me more mad than anything is the sequence that led to it before. We shouldn't even have put ourselves in that situation, number one. Why are you trying to lay the ball up after we force a defensive stop when you know good and well the T-Wolves are going to have to foul you? That's where I'm more of, okay, I'm upset, I'm mad about that. The foul at the end shouldn't even have occurred. That should have not even happened. Why are we letting that happen to begin with? Like, why? Like, why is that happening? And like I said, that I think is what's got me more than anything. And the and like I said, I'm trying to grasp at words here because there's only so much you could say. And like I said, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm devastated, I'm heartbroken, and it just eats me up a little bit on the inside that Anthony Edwards kills us again and again, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I just want to shake my head. And like I said, he had 15 points until about the 6 or 7 minute mark of the fourth quarter, and then Anthony Edwards just kicks it into another gear. And here's the thing, too: offensive offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding, controlling the paint. That's been our Achilles heel. There was a lot of shots tonight. I feel like we could have gotten better position on and rebounding. That I feel like got us. Our bench, our bench is a serious. Our bench is a serious problem. And I get we're not healthy. Like I said, we had no Porter, we had no Murray. But still, this game was in our hands. It wasn't like this game was out of reach. Wasn't like this game was out of reach. It was it was it was right there for the taking, and we just didn't take it. And like I said, we've got the Spurs. Spurs tomorrow night. A young Spurs team with Stephon Castle, Vessel, Keldon Johnson. Like, we have to mentally shake this off now. Show the championship team that we are. We just shake it off. Let's move on. Like I said, as a fan, I hope we come out tomorrow with more hunger, and the mistake is over. It's done. Let's move on. And like I said, here's the calling link. I'll put it in the chat again for anybody that wants to call in to the show, give their takeaways on this game. I'm going to stay live about another 5-10 minutes possibly. If anybody wants to call in, there it is again. Feel free to. Love to hear your all's opinions out there. But let's look at some statistics, shall we? Shall we here? For the overall game recap, let's look at our team stats here. Stats. Field goal percentage, we shot better from them from the field. Field. 3-point percentage, they shot 3% better. Free throws, man, we missed a lot at the line. So did the T-Wolves. Rebounds, we got beat 52-45. Offensive rebounds, 21-8. We cannot have that, especially in these crunch time games. That's what really killed us. We couldn't grab a board to save our life. And even after Gobert fouled out, defensive rebounds, we beat the T-Wolves. Assists, they beat us. We beat them in steals and blocks. Total turnovers, we've got to we've got to cut those 18 turnovers down. Points in the paint. I mean, we turnovers ultimately tonight was our undoing as well. We shouldn't have gotten to this point, but we turned the ball over 18 times. And against a team like the Timberwolves, that team has been historically has your number, knows who you are, and you turn the ball over 18 times and expect not to get beat, yeah, that's a recipe to get beat. And even Coach Malone said it in his presser. He said you can't turn the ball over against teams like Minnesota, especially really good teams like Minnesota who have beaten you on multiple different occasions. And it's one of them things where it got us again. Turnovers, not rebounding. Rebounding. And like I said, I hope this is a good learning lesson. And I hope this is a good learning lesson because we have a lot of young guys. And hopefully they learn not to make that mistake. But like I said, Westbrook, you have been in this league for 17 years. Why are you still making that same stupid mistake that a rookie would make, man? Like, it always comes back to that. Like, ugh. Like, I'm begging. I'm begging someone in the chat. Somebody explain to me, how does that happen? I get the defense is scrambling and you see someone's open, but explain to me how that happens. Like, explain to me how that happens. Like, I think I'm going nuts here, guys. Like, how does that happen? A 17-year veteran makes a rookie mistake at the end and could possibly cost us seeding. Like, you can't be serious with this right now. I'm, I don't, I don't know what else to say other than, like I've said before, it's time to move on. Like, I'm mentally trying to move on. And like I said, you see the statistics. 18 turnovers, we can't do that. And we're pretty clean, no flagrants, one technical foul, pretty standard stuff. But you look at a lot of, we were close in a lot of areas. But the key importance that matter, turnovers and bench points, was like 40-9 at one point. You can't have any of that. You just can't. And listen, bench depth has been a problem. Like I said, I stressed before, we're not healthy. But our bench needs to step up. They need to do something because that's what got us last year in the playoffs against the T-Wolves. And the thing, Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid were suspended for this game for the altercation they had Sunday in Detroit with the Pistons. Imagine, like, our bench is already not that great to begin with. But now you take away Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid. Could you imagine how much worse this could have gotten? All I know is this. The heartbreak has begun to set in. Absolutely. It's begun to set in. And that's the thing. And it's just, I'll say this. Okay, let me compose myself. And, you know, and I'm seeing on X and X and or Twitter, whatever you like to call it, people are already throwing Westbrook out, saying they're dead to him, that it's over, that they don't want him back next year. It's just, uh, well, I'll say this: we have our first caller of the night, and maybe this guy here can help me understand what in the world happened tonight. It is our good buddy, our friend, you know and love him. He's a legendary caller at the Voice of College Football and always brings rationalizations to this. And he's a Kansas City Chiefs lover, Mr. Darrell MVP. How are you, Darrell?
I'm doing good. How about you, Austin?
Well, I was doing fine, Darrell, until I saw the ending of this game, but I digress.
Well, I mean, listen. Unfortunately, one team had to win this game and one team had to lose, and the Nuggets were the team to lose it. I mean, in my opinion, Minnesota just had too many chances to win this game. In regulation, they should have won it. In the first overtime, they should have won it, and they finally came through in the clutch on the second overtime to win it. So,
Mhm.
Denver never had a chance to win the game in this game. I know it was a heartbreaking game, but
Here's the thing, Darrell. Like I've been saying this was an incredible game, especially for a fan like you, Darrell, who's doesn't have a part in either side. And I agree with you. We gave Minnesota one too many chances to win this thing. Like I said, they had three chances to win. They had a chance to win it the end of regulation, the end of the first overtime, and then, of course, what ultimately became the undoing. That's too many chances for a good team like Minnesota.
yeah, I completely agree with you. Russell Westbrook, I knew as soon as he got the ball and he was going to take it all the way because there was a play way back in when he was on the Thunder when she dunked it. And, he's just always had that mentality of, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go for the kill shot. So as soon as he in, I've said, oh, there's no way he's slowing down, pulling it up. He should have dunked it. I agree with Shaq on that. He should have dunked the ball. I don't agree with him just doing a soft layup because
Yeah.
he missed it. He was tired, I think, and he fell short. But
hmm
what would you have dribbled the ball back out, or did you like the dunk or the layup?
So originally watching it, I thought, okay, it was 2-on-1. You had Brown and you had Westbrook. And I'm thinking, okay, if Westbrook misses this, I'm like, okay, Brown's gonna be right there. We're gonna be fine. And this was the one time he misses it, and the T Wolves, the one player gets the rebound, and I threw my hands up to real. I kid you not. And I was like, of course, the one time, because most of the time when it's 2-on-1, the team that has the two normally gets the putback, but not this time.
Yeah, I agree with you there that about that situation. I mean, listen, Timberwolves just made the plays down the stretch. I mean, they just made all the key plays. All the key plays went the Timberwolves' way. And I tell you what, for that foul call at the end of the game, I got to give the ref because it was the right call to make it
It
there. But I got to
was.
give the ref plenty of credit. We've seen in plenty of cases where you've had a pretty obvious foul call, and I think this was a pretty obvious foul call, and the ref swallows their whistle because it's the end of the game. So I liked how the ref actually called the foul, even though it definitely was not a popular call in the arena. What were your thoughts on the call?
Here's the thing, Darrell. Now that I've calmed down, I'm I went back and like seen replays of it. It was the right call. But what upsets me about it more than anything, Darrell, is like I've said, is it feels it goes back to the beginning of the play. To answer your previous question, I would have dribbled it, and like I said, they would have had to foul you, make your two free throws, and let's go home. Like, don't even give the ref the power to blow that whistle. That's where I'm at with that. And here's the thing: it was a scramble on defense. They had to double Edwards because, like I said, Edwards was killing us. down the stretch. Like I said, when the lights come on the brightest, he shows up for Denver. I don't know why. If he loves playing us, like I get it. There's some players that just love to play a certain team. Like Darrell, me and you know this very well. The Harrison twins, they loved playing Louisville for whatever reason. Your players came on the brightest when you played Louisville, but that's what I felt. I agree with the call though. It's the right call. Like it or not, it's the right call.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite matchups in the NBA because the NBA just doesn't have a lot of rivalries nowadays because of
Mm-hmm.
how soft the game has gotten. I honestly believe like these two teams don't like each other. Anthony Edwards versus Jokic. You've got that point guard versus center dynamic to it. The Wolves are a physical team, one of the most physical teams, and the Nuggets are more of a finesse team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I think the styles and the matchups work perfectly for this being honestly my favorite rivalry to watch in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. And Trojan Fight says this helps out my Lakers. Yep. Like I showed in the standings, you're one game back now.
Yeah, shout out to the Mavericks for making the worst trade in the history of sports. Maybe the worst trade in the history of civilization.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, Daryl, but I would like to be when Nico Harris made that call. I'd like to know what exactly he was drinking
Yeah,
because he just gifted LeBron another title, possibly.
I know. Do you? I
Hmm.
know losing this game puts you down at 29 losses, the same as the Lakers. But do you see a big difference between being the 3 seed and the 4 seed? Like, I don't view this Oklahoma City Thunder team. I know they've won, what, 62 or 63 games now, but
Yeah.
there's a part of me that just still doesn't believe in them.
Here's my thing, Daryl. I wouldn't mind the 4 seed because it's home court advantage, but the thing is, I like having the 2 seed because it guarantees you at least the first 2 rounds. If you make it that far, you would have home court advantage. And as we've shown in history, we're a great home court advantage. It's hard to complain altitude, kind of like it is with the Broncos and some of the other teams in Colorado and Utah, And like, would I be upset if we drew the 4-5 game? No. Do I look forward to playing OKC in round two? Not really. But I think we can handle them.
Right. I think the biggest difference between the 3 and the 4 this year is the Cavaliers. I mean, not Cavaliers. Sorry, I saw his comment. The Thunder versus the Rockets in the second round, because the Rockets remind me a lot of the Thunder last year, where they're just too. They're the team that nobody even saw nowhere in this position. They're most likely going to be the second seed, but how many people? I would be shocked if the Rockets made the Western Conference final with Shingun as their. Shingun's probably their best player. Like, I just can't imagine him being in the Western Conference Finals as their best player. And if you had a Jokic on Shingun matchup in the second round, I don't care where that game's being played. I'm going to take Jokic all day, every day over Shingun.
Hmm. And like Trojan Fight said, he said, I'd be surprised if it's not OKC Cleveland. Uh, Here's the thing. I could see OKC, but I have a hard time picking against Boston out east. What do you
Yeah,
think,
Boston's
Dario?
really good. Boston's a really good. It's Boston or Cleveland. Those two teams have clearly like we can just pencil them in for the Eastern Conference Finals right now. To be honest with you, they're so much better than the New York Knicks or the Pistons, who have had a nice season. They are relevant for once, so good for them. Or the Bucks without Damian Lillard because of his blood clot issues. So those two teams, I think the Celtics though just have that championship experience, and I'm just
Hmm.
curious because the Cavs,
Hmm.
this is their best season since LeBron James hasn't been there, and they've never been into the postseason that far. And I wonder how the the playoff intensity and experience because they're not going to get as many calls as they're getting. I wonder if the physicality is going to get to them because I just don't fully believe in Evan Mobley as a
Mm-hmm.
4/5 player yet. So I think
Mm-hmm.
Robert Williams could potentially dominate against him. I think I just like the Celtics' depth as well. They've got like 6 or 7 guys that I just think are all pretty good players, like really
Mm-hmm.
good players. I know the Cavs are really good this year, but I just don't fully believe in them. And the Thunder, in my opinion, the 4 teams that can win the championship this year is the Lakers, Celtics, Thunder, Cavs. I think those are the 4 teams that have separated themselves from everyone else.
Yeah, and listen, before I answer Trojan Fight's question here, um, I would say I would agree with you, Dario. I mean, the only other team I could maybe throw in there is Golden State because they're getting hot. Jimmy and Steph and Draymond seem like they're putting it together. But as we know, Dario, Jimmy in the playoffs does come alive. So maybe Golden State could be a dark horse more than anything. It's crazy to consider Steph Curry a dark horse, but
Yeah, I know, but the path they're going to have to go on right now, if the playoffs were to be official right now, is so brutal. Like they're the 5 seed, which means
uh-huh.
right now in round one they'd have to play the Lakers, which is
That's not an
probably
easy.
the second or third best team in the entire NBA. Then they would have to play the first or second best team in the entire NBA, the Thunder, just to get to the Western Conference Final. I'm sorry, if that's the path for anybody, they're drawing dead, in my opinion. I don't care who it is.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna try to say this unbiasedly. There's 2 teams, in my opinion, that could take a path that Gold State could end up on and make it out okay. That would be, I think, the Nuggets could do it from the simple fact of their championship DNA, Jokic, Gordon, Murray, Porter, and I think the Warriors could do it because of their championship DNA, and maybe the Lakers. Other than that, like the Rockets, like let's be honest, Dario, the Rockets are a nice story, but if they have to play the Thunder in round 2, it's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that situation. I feel the same way about the Rockets that I do the Pistons. I think they've both had incredible seasons. I think they've wildly overachieved expectations relatively to
Mhm.
what most people thought. I do not think there's any chance they make any sort of noise in the playoffs. Now, obviously, the Rockets are better than the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons will probably get swept in the playoffs, but
I
the,
mean, if they get matched up with the Pacers, that could be a 7-game series. To be honest.
no. The Pacers will outrun anybody they. I don't think the playoffs are just different, and you just have to be there to experience it. And
Hmm.
the Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They're a good team. I believe in Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best point guards in the game. Their offense, I think, is just going to wear down the Detroit Pistons. I mean, they scored 162 points against the Wizards. I don't care who you score 162 points against. Your offense is elite, and
Hmm.
I don't believe in the Detroit Pistons defense enough to slow them down to where they can only. I'm going only here. Score 110 or 120 in the playoffs.
That's the thing too. And real quick to Trojans Fight's question, he said, Austin, what's your view on the Nuggets' lack of offseason moves for 2 years now? Well, Pope gone. A year before that, a key role player left. Yeah, that was Bruce Brown, Jeff Green from the title team. He said, from outside looking in, it just like looks like they let guys go and do little to replace them. See, the thing is with us is we rely on Coach Malone and the staff to develop players through the draft, like we did with Christian, like we're trying to do with Jalen, like we're trying to do with Strother. And plus, we paid Murray, we paid Porter, we paid Gordon, Jokic. We paid all of our superstars big money that we can't really pay our bench players. So we're trying to draft well and develop. And listen, I'm I like Julian Strawther. I think he's really good. He was good at Gonzaga. Daryl, you could probably contest to that. I think Julian's good, but he's got a lot to work on. And for being a team like us who wants to compete now, it's good and it's bad because you're getting to learn behind Jamal Murray, which is not a bad thing. And Daryl probably loves that more than anything because it's a Kentucky guy, and I have to root for a Kentucky guy. But the thing for me is it's disappointing because you've got a generational talent in Jokic, and we're relying on our starting five to get the job done. And it's like, listen, I get we don't have that much cap space, but sometimes you just have to ask the players to restructure. Kind of like Patrick Mahomes in the NFL when he took a bit of a pay cut on his last contract to keep Travis Kelsey around, to keep Chris Jones around. You have to make that sacrifice. And I think Joker, if you asked him, I think he would do that. But to me, it seems like they want to develop players and try to keep. Don't want to have to pay the big bucks to any bench role players. Is what it seems like to me, Trojan fight, and it's very disappointing at times.
Well, Austin, I mean, the NBA is a salary cap league, and you're now experiencing the impacts of it. You have to pay somebody. I mean, when the Nuggets had 8, 9 guys that were legitimately good enough to be 4s and 5s on other teams, maybe even 3s and 2s in the case of Aaron Gordon when he was their fourth best player a few years ago, this is the
Mm-hmm.
consequences of it. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
NBA this era, and I'm saying that era is over the last 7 or 8 years, has probably been the most competitive era in all of basketball. 7 different teams have won the title. We've had no back-to-back winner. So it's just the consequences of being successful, Austin.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too, Darrell. I understand that comes with territory. What ticks me off though about the whole thing is I see a team like Boston. How in the world are they keeping all their players? Like, where are they getting the money from?
Well, they draft really well, and they don't. The difference between Boston and the way they've built it and everyone else is they don't really have a 1A. They've got 2 guys that are kind of like really good. I don't want to say 2s, but they're 1B type players. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown are all that different, in my opinion. I mean, Jaylen Brown won the finals, and most people MVP, and most people consider him the worst of the two. They're probably between the 8th and 15th best player. They're not a top 7. They're not a Luka Doncic. They're not a Jokic. They're not an SGA. They're not that level of player. So they're
No. I mean, not to cut you off, Darrell. At Tatum's peak, you can maybe make an argument top 10 at his peak, in my opinion.
right. So they've just built differently and decided we're going to have 2. I don't want to say great because that's underselling them, but elite players, and then we're just going to have a ton of depth. Whereas most of the other teams have decided we're going to have a 1A, he's going to be the captain, and then we're going to have some depth to go along with it. Or
Mm-hmm.
this is why the Thunder are just so good. We're going to have a bunch of draft capital. We're going to stank for a few years. We're going to get lucky and get a 1A that we don't have to pay, and we're going to have a ton of depth. So they got the best of all worlds right now. But it'll come back to bite them in a few years, like you.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, Darrell. And listen, I'll say this. Here's the thing. Right now on paper, even though our bench is weak, I've said this all year long, I still think we can win the whole thing. Because when you've got Jokic, like I said, I think he's the best player walking the planet today,
That's
in my opinion.
inarguable.
I mean, and here's the thing: Jamal Murray, when healthy, Darrell, I think he's a top 10 point guard in this league. Porter, one of the best 3 point shooters in the game today. Aaron Gordon, I think we've got pieces to win now, but going forward, I don't like where we're going. Like if we don't win a championship this year, next year, I'm gonna be very, very concerned because we got to capitalize now.
I mean, the Nuggets could win it all. It would surprise me if they won it all, but it wouldn't shock me if they won it all.
I mean,
They're in that same tier as the Warriors, in my opinion, where
go
it
ahead,
would
Drew.
it would be like, whoa, they won it. It'd just be out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but it'd be like, oh, the experience put them over the top to win this title. That's the way I would view it if one of those two teams won.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, realistically, Dario, like, obviously, besides the Thunder, because they're in a tier all their own, let me ask you something. Speaking, talking about the T-Wolves here, where would you have them? Do you think they could win it all?
I would put them in the same tier as the Nuggets and Warriors. They could win it all, but it would take a lot. It would be surprising if the Timberwolves won it all this year.
Okay.
I think they're a good team. I
Mhm.
just don't fully believe it in them. Like, to
Because
me, the Thunder and
mhm.
the Thunder, Cavs, Celtics, Lakers have separated themselves, and then you've got a team of about 7 to 8 teams that are good enough, or not 7 or 8. I'll say 5 or 6 teams that are good enough to win it all, but they need things to break their way. Like, they need the seedings to be right. They may need another team to be one of the best teams in the NBA. Maybe an unfortunate injury on another team causes them to win it all. Something like that, similar to the 19 Raptors. I don't think the
Mhm.
19 Raptors are one of the best teams in the NBA, but they had injuries go their way. They had a little bit of luck on their side with the shot over Joel Embiid and the 76ers. I think it would take that type of stuff for one of those teams to win it.
Well, like for example, Dario, I thought the Bucks could win the East at the beginning of the year, and that may be a bold take on my part. But now that Damian Lillard's hurt, the Bucks might get beaten round one. Like that's how big of a drop off I think they take without Dame. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, but
Yeah, they're in that same tier right now where I would be surprised if they won it all. Like, I saw Nick Wright says they only have a 1% chance to win it all. I think it's way more than 1% chance. But, at the beginning of the year, I was thinking they're on the same tier as Boston and the Nuggets. And, before we saw the Cavs and Thunder, I thought they were going to be that level of team where they were surefire contenders. But now it's like, if they
uh,
even make the Eastern Conference Finals, I'll be surprised.
mhm. Well, to me, Dario, this is what I think. Honestly, going into this year, like, like, like obviously the Celtics were the favorites to win the whole thing again, which rightfully so. But then you kind of look over in the West, you had a mumbo jumbo of teams. Now it seems like now that we've got 5 or so games left, like you said, it's kind of like college football, where at the beginning of the year you have your projected teams. Now we're at the point where we're like, okay, these are the legit contenders. These are the teams that could, and these are the teams that have no hope at all. They just had a nice year and everything's breaking their way. And I kind of feel like before the Lakers got Luka Doncic, I kind of feel like the Lakers were a tier. They were in the kind of the tier of the T Wolves, where you've got the experience of LeBron, you've got AD, you've got Reeves, but you're waiting for something to happen. And then once they get Luka, now all of a sudden a lot of people think they can win the whole thing. Is that the sense you get, Dario?
I completely agree with everything you said. I completely agree. And I think the Mavs, to just add to it, we're in that tier with the
Mm-hmm.
Lakers and the Bucks and all that stuff because they did make the NBA Finals just last year. But
Yeah.
now it's like they've completely drawn themselves out of it
And
because
and
they,
Trojan Fight does make a good point though, Dario. He's more of a liability on defense
yeah,
than
he's
I
slow. He's
yeah.
slow. He's much slower now than he even was like 5 years ago. And the defense, if the Lakers lose, if they don't win the title, it'll be because of rebounding, because their center position is just
Yeah.
non-existent, and their defense is atrocious because they got a 45, 48, 90-year-old man out there, and he's probably their best defender in LeBron James, And then Luka Doncic, I mean, my goodness, he's like Peyton Manning at the end of his career, where he's just basically a statue.
Yeah. What? And here's the thing too, Daryl, and I'll say this: as you saw the Lakers when they played the Celtics a couple weeks ago, Jaylen Brown once again had Luka Doncic locked up. Like, I don't know if it's something when he plays the Celtics, but he does not play well against them. I don't know why. Every other team he torches, but it seems like it's always the Celtics is when he goes in a shell. I don't know if it's because Jaylen Brown's that good of a defender. Like, he is elite on defense, or if Luka, there's something about him playing the Celtics. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe it's just the defense that they play. The defensive intensity is different. Maybe it's just it's a mental thing. I don't know, but players have that to where one team has their number, but against a different team,
Mm-hmm.
they can expose them. Like Luka Doncic is a good example of this against the Clippers. I mean, I think the Clippers over the last 5 years have been way more talented than those Dallas Mavericks teams, but Luka's just absolutely torched them. So it goes both ways. I don't get paid the big money to figure out this stuff. If I was, I would be much wealthier than I am right now, Austin, if I had these type of answers.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want to ask you this too, Drew. I'm glad you came on. I'm sure you've been scrolling through X/Twitter, whatever you like to call it, and Russell Westbrook is getting a lot of hate right now. And do you think the hate is justified?
I mean, he did cost him the game. So I don't know how much hate he's getting, but if people want to criticize him for the last 25 seconds of the game, I think the criticism is valid. Depending the general criticism, I have to look specifically if you want to bring up specific examples.
Well, the reason why I say that is because scrolling through, there's people that are saying that he's 17 years in and he's making that mistake. And that's true. Like I said, you're 17 years in, you shouldn't make a rookie mistake. I agree with them people. But for them people to say he doesn't have any talent, he doesn't belong in the NBA, that's where I'm kind of like, okay, like, let's settle down, guys. Like, I know it's bad, and this is coming from a passionate fan and myself. Like, let's settle down. Let's not, as Jackson would say if he was here, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Westbrook is still an exceptional player. He made one bad mistake. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I do think it is right to justifiably criticize him for fouling on a 3-point. I think it's justifiable to criticize anybody who fouls on a 3-point attempt. I mean, you shouldn't, just don't. It's a
Mhm.
terrible foul. So, I criticize my team when they foul on 3-pointers when it doesn't matter. So
Mhm.
obviously at the end of the game, it's going to be hyper scrutinized. So there's plenty. I'm surprised. You know what I'm surprised about is Jokic isn't getting more criticized because he missed that first free throw when it was 138. If he would have made it,
I
then he.
Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
I was going to say he would have had to make them all three of them, and it's much harder to make 3 free throws than 2 because people only practice for 2 free throws instead of 3. So
Well, and the thing too is, Daryl, I think the thing is, reason why that's not getting brought up is because of what happened at the end there, the sequence that happened at the end. Because if the Timberwolves would have came down and hit a three and no foul occurred, then we would have been talking about that more. But the fact that there was the blown layup and then the T Wolves get fouled on the three, I think it's one of them things, Daryl, and you know this as well as anybody, and a lot of fans do that watch basketball or football. There's always that one play that overshadows a play that not a lot of people talk about, and that's what happened tonight. Jokic did miss the free throw, but the egregious mistake Westbrook made at the end, blowing the layup, fouling Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the three, that's going to overshadow all that. And I think, too, Daryl, I'm with you. Like, Jokic, he missed the free throw. But that didn't decide the game, though, is my thing. You made a defensive stop. Hold the ball. That's where I'm at. Like, hold the dang ball. Let's make the free throws and let's get out of here. But it's the fact of what you did. Like that's why I don't think a lot of people are talking about it.
I get it, but I think more people should be talking about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm surprised it's because Jokic is by far the best player on the team, and he did
Yes.
have an amazing game. He might have probably had one of the best games of the season, going a 61 point
I
triple
mean,
double. So
here's the thing, Daryl, and I'll say this too. Jokic has had two of the single greatest performances in NBA history single-handedly because he's the first player ever to have 30, 20, and 20. No other player's ever done that against Phoenix earlier this year, which was spectacular. And then he had tonight one of, I think they said, two players to have a 60-point triple-double, I believe. He might either be the only one or the second ever. But, and here's the thing too, not to keep anybody up any longer or anything, but I'll say this. How can you not give Jokic the MVP? I get it, Shea's the new kid on the block, and you like what you see. But you cannot tell me, objectively, watching both of them play, who's the best basketball player in the world today.
I mean, no offense, Austin. I think that might. I mean, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's an elite player. He's one of the best three players in the entire world right now. His team's won 62 games. He's by far the best player on that team. He's putting up unbelievable numbers. I know Jokic is having a great season, but Shea deserves. I mean, listen, Michael Jordan didn't win every year he was in the NBA. LeBron James didn't win every year and he was in the NBA. Steve Nash, for goodness sakes, has more MVP trophies than Shaquille O'Neal. So, unfortunately for you, I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win this MVP. And if the Nuggets had 56, were clearly the second seed in the West, I think it'd be more of an argument. Or if Jokic hadn't won an MVP or two MVPs, or have just been completely making the MVP award a complete non-factor, then yeah.
I mean, and like Trojan Fight says, the MVP usually goes to one of the top teams. And here's the thing too. And I'm not trying to get into a whole argument or nothing. But here's the thing. I get it. The Thunder are having a historical season. But I want to say this. When we talk MVP, who MVP, is it the best player or is it the most valuable? Because if we're talking best player, I could see an argument for Shea. If we're talking most valuable, it's Jokic. Because you take Jokic away from this team's probably a playing team. Would you agree with that, Daryl?
I mean, I would agree with that in general.
I mean, if you take Shea away from the Thunder, are the Thunder the number one team in the West? No. They're probably the 6-7, probably where Denver would be, maybe 5.
I think SGA is going to win it this year, and I think Nuggets fans are going to be rightly upset. And I think if Jokic won it this year, SGA would be upset. Unfortunately, we got two people who clearly deserve to win this award, but there's only one award. So I think the tie is going to go to the person with the better record and the guy who hasn't won it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I mean, Nikola Jokic is a special player, but if they didn't do it, they're not going to reset the precedent if they didn't reset it for Jordan or James. Jokic is one of the best players of all time, but he's not as good as LeBron James and Michael Jordan. So I expect SGA to win it.
Well, I'll say this to Rio, and then I'll let you go for the 9. I'll say this: if the Thunder and the Nuggets meet in the playoffs, and it goes to full 7 games, I honestly think a lot of people will look at that playoff series, no matter who wins MVP, and will tell the other fan base, and of course I will include myself in it because I'm in the Nuggets fan base, that their guy shouldn't have won. That's where I'm at with it, Daryl. if we end up meeting in the playoffs, whether it's round 2 or in the conference finals, the guy that wins the series is ultimately going to have the bragging rights. And the other fan base is going to be shouting amongst their lungs that this guy's MVP and you can't tell them no different.
I agree with that, and I would like to see that matchup specifically for that reason.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would go the full 7 games too. And do I think we would win right now? No. I would take the Thunder in 7. And that's me being humbly honest. Would I like to see it? Absolutely. Do I think we can win? Yes, but do I think we will? No. Not if we keep playing like this.
Well, I mean, I thought you played well tonight, Austin. I know you lost this game, but I thought this was just a great basketball team game, probably between game of the year, to be honest with you. So there's no shame in losing this game. It's just, it's just one of 82, Austin.
That's
So
one
it's
of,
not like college football or March Madness where, it's one and done or it's one and you're one away from being done. You got plenty of time to get right. Honestly, you all are projected right now to play the Grizzlies. I mean, they fired their head coach. You can use that series to even get right. And then if you win that series, you're projected to play the Rockets. So guess what? You got that series to get right. So you got plenty of time, Austin. Don't worry. Don't panic. You're
I'm
great
not
where
gonna.
you're at right now.
And I'll say this too, Darrell. I'm not gonna panic. I never panic when I have Jokic, of course. But I'll say this: I just hope Westbrook doesn't. I hope he learns from this mistake, and I hope we can all be rational as fans. Fans, let's get right. We got a young Spurs team tomorrow, Darrell. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Like they got no Wemby, no De'Aaron Fox. They're young. They're talented, but let's get right tomorrow. I know we're going to be exhausted, but let's bounce back. Like you said, it's one of 82.
I got you, Austin. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you next time.
You too, Darrell. Thank you for coming on. And Darrell, that was Darrell MVP, who's an awesome, awesome caller. I appreciate Darrell coming on. I love Darrell. And I'll say this, and Trojan Fight says, what Murray out for? Ankle injury. I believe it was his ankle. He's been out for a couple reasons. Knee, ankle. I know he was out for a hip, but tonight it was for the ankle. Porter was out with personal reasons. Don't know what it is. Don't know if they will disclose it. But Murray was out for an ankle, and Strother's out with a high ankle sprain. He's been out the last 4 weeks, so he should be back. I believe they said he would either be back the second to last game or the last game before the postseason. But obviously, tonight was a heartbreaker here on the Timberwolves Nuggets post-game live show. It was a heartbreaker. It's a tough pill to swallow for us Nuggets fans, but I want to say this, Russell Westbrook, I still love you to death. I want you to be here in Denver for a long time. I think you've got a home here. You and Jokic have built chemistry like no other. It's heartbreaking this game ended the way it did. But we've got a young San Antonio team tomorrow night. Let's get right, let's get healthy, and let's make a long postseason push, hopefully. But I appreciate you all tuning in to this heartbreaking post game. I mean, hopefully we won't have to do another one of these that's heartbreaking. Hopefully the next one I do will be better than this. It could be a win. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bells so you never miss another great video. Nuggets fans, NBA fans, tough one to swallow for us Nuggets fans, but NBA fans, you got a classic tonight. Maybe one of the best regular season games in a long, long time. But with that being said, sleep well, have a wonderful night, and as always, much love and respect. And as always, it will always be go Nuggets. See you soon.